Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games, and today we're going to have a slightly different video than what I'm normally presenting on my channel. We're going to talk about 5 different details on a Magic card that you may or may not have noticed ever. So as many of you guys know, I open thousands of cards for videos, for selling, so there are a lot of little details I've noticed over the years that you probably didn't even know about. So let me share them with you today. Detail number 1 is the foil star. Every single Magic card that has been printed in the current frame, which has been around since Magic Origins, printed in 2015, now contains indicators on the card to tell you if it's a foil or not. If it's a foil, the card will actually have a star on it. If you ever play Pokemon, it's very similar to that star that you see on the bottom right corner, except in Magic, it's on the left corner. Now, where that star is currently is right after the set code. So if you look at the left corner, bottom left corner of a Magic card, you'll see the set code followed by a dot. If you see a dot, that card is a normal, non-foil card. But if you see a star, that card is a foil. So the next time you want to buy cards from Amazon, eBay, etc., and you're not sure with the photo whether the card is foil or not, look for the star, and then you'll know right away. Detail number 2 is that any special card is also printed on the card. So again, with the frame change since Origins, all the special cards and where they come from actually is printed on the card. So normally for a card, there's no data here, and if you look on the bottom left corner, it's just blank. However, for any cards that are special, there is actually text written on the card on the bottom left corner that tells you where this card comes from. As an example, if the card is part of the bundle, part of a promo, part of Friday Night Magic, Game Day, Refer a Friend, Buy a Box, etc., all those pieces are on the card itself. And they'll tell you if it is part of a specific promo and where to get it. So it's pretty useful if you ever want to know. In addition to that, there is something called a story spotlight. So in every standard set where there's a story, certain cards, usually about 20 cards, are marked with the word story spotlight. And what that means is that these cards are depicting art, flavor text, name, other components that may be pointing to a key point in that set's story. It's pretty interesting and pretty cool. So make sure you go out there, find the cards that say story spotlight and collect them all. Detail number 3 is that the rarity of a card is actually written on a card. I know, when I say that, everyone thinks, of course it is, Mark, it's the set symbol. Yes, every set symbol in the middle of the card to the right of the card denotes the actual rarity of the card. Ever since Exodus, this rarity actually is separated by a color of the set symbol. As an example, black means common, silver means uncommon, gold means rare, and for mythic rare, which was introduced in Alara, it's recognized by an orange color. However, there is another location where the rarity of a card is actually denoted. Now, this again was only introduced in Origins and forward in the current new frame. But if you look at the bottom left corner again on a card, it would actually tell you what the rarity and card type of the card. As an example, you're going to have C for common, U for uncommon, R for rare, M for mythic rare, L for land, P for promo, and etc. There's going to be other special rarities that you'll be able to find. Detail number 4 is the brush symbol next to the artist's name. Now, if you guys know, back in the original printing of Magic, all of the artist names that are credited for the card are on the bottom of the card. It usually basically says Illis and then the artist name. Illis is short for illustrated, and so of course for Black Lotus, it'll say Illis, Chris Rush. And this is true for all the sets until the frames changed in 8th edition. In 8th edition, Illis was replaced by an actual paintbrush. So you will see a paintbrush followed by the artist name. Then in later frames, that paintbrush got shorter and all you see in the current frame is just a paintbrush head. So it's a paintbrush head that kind of sometimes looks like a fish. It always looked like a fish to me, followed by the artist name. So that's another interesting detail that you may have missed on a card. Detail number 5 is that the frame leaks info about the card. So if you have ever noticed, there's a frame around the image and the text box of the Magic card. That frame often will actually tell you data and information about the card that's additional to any text you can read. So for example, you of course know about the color, so meaning a red frame usually denotes a red card, blue for blue card, etc. However, did you know the frame can give you more data than just that? For example, take an enchantment creature. You'll notice that the frame is starred. This was introduced in Theros to denote enchantment creatures. let's look at hybrid creatures. Hybrid creatures actually have both colors on the frame, along with also 2-color creatures, of course, in the newer frames. In original frames, 2-color creatures and 3-color creatures all had gold borders. Artifacts are denoted by a grayed out frame, while snow is denoted by one that's kind of a little bit frozen over. Colored artifacts are denoted when color is mixed with that grayed out frame to tell you that it's an artifact, but of a color. Devoid actually drains the color. So if you look from the top of the card to the bottom, you'll notice that the color actually falls off the card. Pretty neat detail, huh? Okay, since I love you guys so much, I'm gonna give you a bonus one. This is not necessarily a detail that you may not know, but it's gonna give us a lot of clarity around the types of borders and how to describe them. So what I'm talking about is the difference between extended art, full art, and borderless. Now, there are other terms, but these are the 3 standards that we can follow. Most of the time when we talk extended art, borderless, or full art, we're talking about 2 things, frame and border. The border of a card is that black or white or silver or gold sometimes outline of the actual card. Of course, the frame is just the section inside of that border, but outside of the artwork or the text box. An extended art card is one where the artwork extends horizontally across the frame and across the border. So you can see it's basically artwork that stretches beyond those 2 points. A full art card does a similar thing where it extends the artwork vertically down. And you can see it bleeds both into the text box above and also usually into the text box below. This is the standard treatment for all Planeswalker cards. Lastly, borderless. It means exactly that. The card has no border and no frame, and the artwork extends in all directions and potentially into and around even text boxes. All right, that's gonna do it for me for today. I'm Mark, this is Solar Games. Stay classy.